want to beat Fnatic and stop the whole thing.
See if they can do it today. Unicorns have been in the past that bane of Fnatic's existence. Not lately. We'll see if that turns around here today. Shen taken off the board, so is the Jace. Take their time for picks and bans. Very possible we see some absolutely insane things with neither of these teams playing for anything in the playoffs. The Runeglaive Orianna is not going to make an appearance either today.
No, simply banning it away. Playing it safe. Fnatic is a team that very often will target ban and say, you know what, we have a specific champion, we know that you can play really well. Syndra is another one. So it's not one of the meta OP picks you gotta ban away we normally see. It's just straight towards one player. This one is Power of Evil being the target. Janna also taken away from Yellowstar, not a ban we see very often.
And that Rek'Sai too. While there are still some junglers, there are quite a few junglers that Reignover can play very well. That is clearly the one he's been the most comfortable on this split. And if you got to throw one ban at him, that makes a lot of sense. Now, does it go to like Olaf from here? We'll see. I mean, there's plenty of time on the board. But curiously, none of those top bans, unless you really count the Shen, and that's definitely not something for Huni. He's always one to keep an eye on.
Ryze and Rumble, both open for the top lane. Two of the most contested picks. Sivir, of course, is up Kalista there.
Too.
We know Kalista's been fantastic for Reckless. If Fnatic want to go for the old Season 1 skins, they would have to go for Gragas in this case here to make sure it doesn't get snapped away by Unicorns. But we know Unicorns like to run Lee Sin if needed, so they can afford losing a few jungle picks in the draft, ban some picks, and then always go and fall back on Lee Sin for Gilius as a pick.
But also
instead,
the Jarvan possibility.
We keep it dead serious right now for Fnatic. So we go for what many people consider one of the strongest champions in the game. Good old Ryze in the top lane.
But look what they give away for it. Immediately picked up. The Unicorns grabbed themselves the Sivir Alistar lane and locked that one in. Over back to Fnatic.
And this is always the problem for Fnatic when they have these target bans. Like, and you leave so many of what is considered the tier 1 picks open. So yeah, while you can take away one of them, red side will then have the advantage in the sense that they can take 2 picks first rotation and have last pick for either top or mid lane as well. Seeing as we're expecting Ryze to go top, Unicorns can decide to lock in the top lane in next rotation and save the Power of Evil pick for last here. So Unicorns can be fairly happy in the start. Very, very strong picks. I used to say that Sivir Alistar is one of the best 2v2s you can have for the team because you can fast push in with the Sivir and then dive so effectively with the Alistar. Obviously, the overall team fight presence you bring for both of them is absolutely fantastic.
For Fnatic, as they let the timer tick down, if they do lock in and they do this Gragas, they will at least be able to have one Fnatic skin if they want. And of course, Yellowstar toying around with this troll pick once again. He takes.
Yeah. So I want to talk about this jungle here because.
Yes, I had some opinions about it.
I don't think it's as bad as some people are saying as a support pick for Trundle here because he offers quite a lot of very valuable things. First of all, if you play against teams that like to run tanks top, that is Unicorns, they often put Chachi on a tank. At the same time, it was against Freddy yesterday. You can early pick the Trundle and try and counter one of these potential tank picks because again, you take so many stats away from him. That eliminates that tank from being as effective in team fights, which is where they shine. Also, if you're against immobile mid laners, your pillar is fantastic. Against certain AD carries, you can use it to interrupt, like Tristana and Corki. If you like to jump back, you can use the pillar to interrupt it. So there's a lot of good things he offers as a support. His laning phase, though, is absolutely garbage.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Hey, good old Chachi. Just when we thought there wasn't going to be anything that strange.
It's the Unicorns of Love.
It's the Unicorns of Love.
If you play Standard versus Fnatic, it's not going to end well. He's got to pull out the old picks. Poppy, one of the champions Unicorns of Love used to qualify for the LCS about a year ago. From now, where they beat Millennium 3-2 in the promotion tournament. They got into the LCS, made 2nd place. Now again, they've qualified for playoffs, trying to stop Fnatic, and they lock in the Poppy. Now, Poppy Ryze is not a matchup I see very often. But seeing as Poppy tends to do fairly poorly against a lot of the ranged champions and performs really well into the big tanks, I wouldn't necessarily think it's the greatest matchup, but at the same time, can Ryze duel the Poppy, especially once you get to Trinity Force? That's what we're going to have to see.
The other thing, though, that we got to keep in mind is this Rengar pick. If it shadows that Poppy, there can be a lot of problems for Huni in the early game. Now, Fnatic will round out their composition with a pair of poking champions, the Corki and the Varus. So Febiven will get his chance to snipe a few targets, and Reckless will be on a very safe pickup. No Tristana today.
So basically, Poppy, obviously, fantastic one-on-one and then flanking which is what Unicorns are looking to do. And then you have the Rengar as well to create picks with it to engage the fight. Sivir ulti, Rengar jumping in, Poppy coming in from the flank. You have two insanely squishy targets in Reckless and Febiman, of course, in the backline. Even, I mean, Huni on Rise, you don't build tank anymore. You build very, very damage focused. So there's a lot of squishy targets here for Poppy to go towards. So Unicorns running fantastic amount of pick potential. They probably would have loved to run Syndra here as well. Obviously, was banned away. Go back to your tried and tested, though, from Power of Evil.
All right, let me get a fix on this composition. You've got a Poppy running one direction. You've got a Rengar jumping out of a brush. You've got a Kog'Maw sitting in the back, spamming Living Artillery. And you've got the Sivir Alistar lane.
So this is somewhat the same composition or style of composition Unicorns used in the spring split. Crowd is already.
No, we're not doing that anymore.
But
we were hoping they'd forget.
This is the style of comps we saw from Unicorns a lot in spring, where you have a single poke champion. That's for Power Weaver in the mid lane. And then you have VODS often on like a Jinx, or now in this case a Sivir. He's more the tower pushing, he's the fast pusher. Yeah. And then at the same time, Chachi would be in something that could split push in one way or the other. In this case here, it's gonna be the small Poppy in the top lane. I mean, I'm looking forward to this game. We have a lot of fun picks and a lot of stuff. And Sheepy decided to shave as well. What a highlight.
This occasion. Now, when we get ready to load into this one, it is going to be a big game. Even with nothing official on the line, there's always bragging rights and that sweet, sweet 18-0. Now, why don't you guys tell us if you think Fnatic can finish it off? FNC win or UOL win? Can Fnatic secure that perfect split for themselves, or will the Unicorns of Love trample their hopes and dampen their dreams? We're about to find out as we load up onto the Rift. You're not going to want to go anywhere because you won't want to miss this.
Hashtag Poppy win, hashtag Huni win. I want to see this matchup here because I'm really not sure what's going to happen.
Sometimes analysis can only take you so far, Deficio.
Look at him running. The devil.
You know it's a hurt, right?
Oh, people cheering for Huni so far. No love for Poppy.
I mean, there's a lot of Unicorn balloons in the crowd. These guys might be split. We'll have to find out. Huni's going up to the top side, but he might run into quite the number of Unicorns here as they're stacking their duo lane, looking to preempt the lane swap.
Classic top lane bait. You walk in alone. You're like, look, guys, I'm all alone. You can deal a bit of damage. You can win the first trade, and then the team walks in from the top side.
Did Huni spot that?
Collapses you. He's going to see Chachi.
No, he's not taking any risks. Gilius and Power come around. That sends a hail of arrows his way. We'll play this one out safe. Fnatic, remember, no matter what, they don't take unnecessary risks. They calculate them.
Yeah, one of the changes we saw for Fnatic this split, going from this very aggressive early to mid-game team who would always have, you know, this calculating the risk. Is it a high-risk, high-reward situation? Could we maybe turn it into a low-risk, high-reward, and so on and so on? Had all these aggressive plays, used them so effectively at MSI, changed it. This split here, got it Reckless in, they realized, okay, we're winning a lot of games, we can try and maybe change the approach. We don't have to make plays in the early game, we don't have to take the chance, because our late-game team fighting and shot calling is just that much better than the other teams in Europe. That's the style we've seen quite often lately from them.
And it's netted them 0 losses on the board. You have to go all the way back to MSI to find when they last lost a game in professional play, but we will take a look back at the Week 1 matchup in which they trounced Unicorns, coming back off of that international tournament. And were able to secure quite the gold lead, and Unicorns might be still smarting from that one as far away ago as it was.
I don't think they care too much about the Week 1
That's true. They already got the
to be fair.
All right.
Yeah, it was the first game of the split, though.
It meant a lot at the time.
So, standard lanes. Unicorns didn't really get any D-boards placed after Huni spotted them invade as well.
Yeah, Huni V0.
Yeah, we get the 2v2. Well, yeah, for now he's fighting the minions instead. We see Unicorns do there. Something we see quite often now, where you have your top laner tank all the damage on the camp. This saves your jungler a potion, and they take 2 camps, so they get level 2 both of them, and then your top laner can recall and go up to his lane. He has a flask as well in this Poppy, so expecting to take quite a lot of damage, obviously, from a ranged champion in the early game. Down bottom lane, Yellow's on this Trundle, being a bit of a badass.
Continuing to force the pressure back away. We'll fix our eyes on the mid as Gilius is going ahead and taking a camp there, ready to back up Power of Evil in any case. Take a look at, though, Power of Evil. He started this split out on this Kog'Maw. He did absolute work with it. We were always talking about him carrying the team on his back, even when they weren't up to snuff. But we'll talk about that in a minute now. As VODS gets himself caught behind a pillar, we'll have to walk slowly away from danger.
So Fnatic did a camp, level 1. Got into the lane, and early rush to level 2, instant get a good trade on VODS. But obviously the sustain from Alistar. You don't really have any all-in potential in lanes for either of the teams at the moment, so it's going to be a bit of just sustain war between them. Obviously Yellowstar wants to hit level 6 and try and see if he can deny some farm to pillar. But one of the things Amazing was pointing out on Twitter when we were talking about Trundle was again the fact, as I mentioned earlier, against these low, or well, no gap closing, low mobility mid laners, the pillar can be super effective if he can manage to roam in there just for the team fight. So he's looking for Power Weevil obviously later on. And now first gank, potentially.
They see it.
Rengar pre-level 6 though, not exactly the best.
Can be risky, that's for sure. And Huni was in no danger as his ward in the brush spotted the one that Gilius placed down, so he'll go disappointed back to his Krugs. Meanwhile, everything else fairly even. Fnatic continuing to push lanes where they can. Huni had that inherent advantage by just having the lane free to himself. Febiven and Power trading a little bit of damage. Febiven's getting the better of this European sniper at work.
We'll have to see later on if he can out DPS Power Weevil. We saw yesterday Elements in a 1 hour long game. At the same sort of setup, Froggen was out trading both Betsy and Moobs and Corki and Varus alone in that game with his poke flying left and right. Power Weevil looking to do the same here. I want to see what build he's going for. We saw Froggen again run the Rylai's first, key into Rylai's. So he didn't go for Luden's Echo, which is something we've seen very often otherwise, but now a few changes to the item, didn't value the movement speed. Power Weevil can look to do the same, and then you normally would see Leandris coming in very fast. Something I was very sad to see was lacking yesterday, because I think it's such a fantastic item.
So Rainover's been shadowing Huni just a little bit here, but since he couldn't get too much, didn't bait Vizicachi into a blind fight, he himself was going to back to base. Gilius will be going up once again to try his luck. Will he find anything here? Huni's still playing rather safe, and he knows the teams are gunning for him a lot of the time, try and shut him down on that very strong rise.
So the wave is pushing them towards Huni. That's why Gilius is up here more in terms of a counter gank in case Rainover would show himself, because the lane's pushing. Also, when you play Rengar, you gotta look at the minion waves because you want to sneak into these bushes here before you hit level 6, so you can then jump out. And therefore, you need a lane that's pushing towards the enemy top laner, so you can sneak into the first push, maybe the second one once the wave pushes further, and then you can get the surprise jump. Otherwise, your ganks are not very effective. Remember though, Rengar is a champion that once he goes in, he's not going out. So if he gets counter ganked, he very often ends up just dying there. Chachi taking so much poke.
Yeah, Huni definitely has the range on him
Second
right now,
push.
but they're trying to bait this one out. Gilius jumps a bit early. They do land the bola, and Chachi puts him up against the wall. First blood over to Vizicachi.
Looked very simple. Huni clearly did not expect the damage because he didn't flash the snare coming in from Gilius, and in the end, first blood to Poppy. So important for Unicorns of Love to get this Poppy rolling as the split push and then the flank. Later on, both teams are going to look to try and flank on each other's artillery in the back line. And this bottom lane, Farmfest, heavily in favor of Fnatic though. Early level 2 was big for them. And then just been having good trades. Yellow's very aggressive with the pillars.
And definitely not going to be able to do that much with an Alistar versus this Trundle, who while being in melee range can still continue to find ways to harass and deny you farm. Reckless leading a big minion wave to pasture up here into the waiting arms of Vardags, but he has been having a hard time of getting the farm he needs. With Yellowstar going on their own, Power of Evil will send out a living artillery to try and dissuade him here off the pink ward, but he's not phased by it.
Very good for Fnatic. They're winning the Trundle lane. Still the one complaint you hear from all these Trundle support players. I say all these Trundle support players.
I mean, there's a few.
I've seen like 1 or 2, but
you know,
it's been the talking point.
I remember, aside from when it was being played this year, you got to go back to last year. I was casting some Challenger Scene games, and there was a player, you may have heard of his name is Elements, not the team. Apart from the Vel'Koz support, he actually liked this Trundle pickup, and he did some serious work in tanks with it.
It's been played in LMS as well.
It's true.
Taiwan, which is now gone into playoffs. Will be broadcasted in English as well, so look out for that one. We have some very exciting teams to follow heading into Worlds.
Fantastic international matches anticipating, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Zeroing in on this game, Fnatic, of course, using it as target practice to work their way into the playoffs and eventually into that World scenario. Unicorns of Love have locked up that spot, but they do want to play the spoilers and get some valuable practice against the top dogs here in EU. Slim lead for Fnatic, continuing to snowball out those lanes. However, the first blood did go over to Unicorns of Love, courtesy of Chachi and Gilius comboing up in the top on Huni.
For now, Huni is, well, okay, he's winning in farm, but he gave up that first blood. So I guess it's fairly even in terms of the goal, but again, Yellowstar with their pillar, setting up Reckless, and I believe Hylissang right now is just maxing heal for himself, so he's just trying to out-sustain the damage. And Unicorn's turning into a complete farm lane down there, and same for mid lane, obviously 2 long-range poke champions. Reckless, though.
Yeah, Hilly's a little bit low, but he's fine since Reckless was the one he was eyeballing ignited. He's going to go down. Gilius, meanwhile, back to the top, going to flash, gets the snare, and once again, history repeats itself. Gilius this time picks up the kill. And the diplomatic immunity means Chachi doesn't even get a scratch.
Yeah, once Rengar hits that level 6, there's so little Ryze can do on his own to stay alive. Also, look at the potential dive Unicorns of Love would be able to execute later. So far, 60% for Huni win. Puppey, though, has 2 kills. Sorry to say it, guys.
But they're going to try to answer in the bottom. Reckless, a little bit low himself, is looking for VODS as Yellowstar takes a bite out of him.
1 kill, 1 assist. Same kill.
It's okay for now, but yeah, Chachi definitely getting the better of that exchange up in the top lane, and he has definitely had some history on this Poppy, and he's getting some help with this Gilius.
So I'll let you be the referee here, Pyro. Does it count, seeing as Vishy Chachi's getting help? Or is it fair enough?
I think if you got a Rengar, anything's fair. Yeah, if you're getting ganks and you're getting kills and assists, you're doing it right. So Fnatic have to watch their backs and their fronts at this point. Huni, however, he has been kept down on this Ryze before, and it hasn't really meant that much in the end game.
And that is credit to Fnatic as a team. They are very good at having different carries stepping up. If one guy's getting shut down, then Reckless Febvent suddenly becomes the main carries and they play around them more. And they have 3 lanes where all of them can win games for your team. We've seen Varus single-handedly almost win games.
Yeah.
Beforehand, we know Febvent is fantastic on these poke champions.
This is the meaning of triple threat. You don't need all of them to be threats, you need 1 of them or 2 of them on a given day. And now, Chachi may indeed be in some trouble as Huni and Reignover collapse on him.
Chachi.
Belly bump, comes in, gets the big barrel, knocking him up, and he's taken down. Huni gets revenge. For just a couple of tower shots, denies all that farm on top of it.
Yeah, very important gank for Fnatic. They knew Gilius had no ulti, they knew Chachi no ulti, so good timing. Well, and that's what a lot of these great teams will always do. They know exactly the timing of these cooldowns for ultis. Even against a champion like Puppey, you probably don't see very often. And then you play around it. Gilius, though, he wants a piece of Huni again.
Oh, gets flashed, but Hilly's there as well. Will Gilius stay alive in time? Huni knocked into the tower range. He's got nowhere to go, but Reignover is coming in. So is Power of Evil. Huni is taken down once again, and Power picks it up, ghosting his way to a kill secure.
Unicorns doing everything they can to keep Huni down, to gank him with the Rengar. Power of Evil roaming, Hylissang roaming as well. Smart little flash at first, but then suddenly more members showed up. Nothing Huni could do at that point. Unicorns of Love. 3 kills, but very even to go because they've been losing the bottom lane. They've been losing farm in the top lane. It's not exactly going to get a lot better now that Reckless is hitting level 6 for 7 for himself. There's Phage, there's Sheen. And this Trundle here, once he gets into team fights, that's where he wants to be. That's where he shines.
Even though narrowly avoids Hylissang headbutting him headlong into Power of Evil. Very active cow this Hylissang has been all around the map. Most supports definitely doing a lot of roaming, but Yellowstar a little bit more passive in that he's just getting down the deep vision, setting up for later plays. We've just about hit 12 minutes on the clock, and as you mentioned, that gold is absolutely dead even. There's been a lot of blood up in the top, but it hasn't amounted to too much more for Unicorns as Fnatic have been able to outfarm most of the way through.
Right, so that's what it's been giving Unicorns, is made sure to stay even in gold by getting the kills, even though they have been losing some of the lanes. I just want to talk more about Trundle, because you know what? How do you stop Poppy in her ulti from getting to your carry and kill him?
Pillar of Ice.
Pillar of Ice.
That is one way to do it.
So Fnatic and Yellowstar
It's good for more than that too. Hilly goes in. VODS is safe for now. The Power of the Cow to knock back Reckless. Still fairly massive CS lead continues for Reckless in that bottom side. And for Power of Evil in this mid, he's been down just a couple of CS, but he's working his way, it looks like now, of course, towards that Zeka.
Yeah, so Power of Evil sticking to the build. He was one of the people introducing to the professional scene here in Season 5, where you rush the Luden Zeko first because he gives you such a big spike in terms of your poke damage, and also 10% movement speed has a lot of value when you're especially also running like Ghost Flash, so you're getting more mobile with it. We'll get Rylai's later, I would assume, and then Leandris as well, and then we see that insane amount of poke where you land the first one, you just connect the second one, and you just keep going. There's so little you can do against it. Yellowstar is gonna pillar again.
Yep, and and VODS is on the hunt, but what's he hunting for at this point? I think a way out. He does find Hylissang. Spell Shield is burned. They can still take a bite out of him because Yellowstar does. Takes a little bit of damage. They get the knock-up. The teleport's coming in, though. Huni is smelling an opportunity to get some more kills. The pillar cuts him off prematurely. Yellowstar may go down as Chachi had teleported in as well. Looking for Huni now, but Huni will pick off VODS. Yellowstar in the back is perfectly fine from the diplomatic immunity, and it wears off. Chachi, the big barrel. Reignover secures the kill with it, and now Hylissang's taken down. A double kill over to Huni. You can't shut that man down.
Fnatic getting everything in the bottom lane here. It was a flash engage from Hylissang, then TP in from both top laners. Chachi was very low though. Meanwhile, we saw Febiven in the jungle getting chased. Ulti was used by Gilius, but nothing happened from it. Mid tower though, taking quite a beating. Fnatic got the bot lane instantly. Get a massive goal lead.
Power is going to try to neutralize that just a little bit, but Fnatic are not resting on their laurels. Instantly over to the Dragon. When these guys get an opening, they take it, force it open, and just don't let go. Flash forced on Gilius as the Hail of Arrows came in. Dragon is secured. 14.5 minutes into the game. Fnatic increase that goal lead to the most significant it's been. The Unicorns are on the back foot now.
Such an important play in that bottom lane. 3 kills now for Huni. We know the Pokemon Power Weaver is going to be insane, so they need to be able to find ways to get onto him.
Oh, Yellowstar.
Good old Pillar of Ice, man. Look at his Trundle value.
Yeah. And he's going to flash quick, but that's fine.
He can do that too.
And he's okay.
What a beast.
Yeah, this Yellowstar Trundle support pick, definitely been testing that one out. It's still in the works, but they are confident enough to play in LCS matches now as they've secured themselves that first place spot a couple weeks back. Febiven and Yellowstar will double up in the mid to try and push things away, but Power of Evil keeps plopping down the wave. VODS and Hylissang there for the help. And for now, we'll reset back to farming up and trying to get a little stronger for the next fight.
So yeah, a bit of a setback for Unicorns of Love. Right now, you want that Trinity Force completed for Chachi. He needs to be your split pusher. He needs to be able to out-duel the Rise in order for him to set up the flanks on the Varus, on the Corki. And then, of course, open up as well for Gilius to start getting some opportunities to create picks. The trouble or the problem for a Rengar is always if you start losing the map control and the enemy team gets deep wards in your lanes and in your jungle, then it becomes so difficult for you to pull off this ulti. We gotta look for Fnatic to ward the lanes. Wants to take down this mid tower as well, because that's obviously the next move is like, oh, my jungle is warded. I'm just gonna sit on my tower, pop my ulti on Rengar, and then I'm gonna run down, create the picks. But then pink wards as well. If it becomes too predictable, you smack down a pink ward, Rengar jumps in, and you say no.
Just say no. Hylissang a little bit battered and bruised here. Be totally fine. Staying back as Reignover looks to jump into Gilius and Chachi. They thought they had the jump on him, but they're the ones who've got the jump. Reignover throws the big barrel to get the deny off as Chachi had his diplomatic immunity on. And nobody dies there in the top lane. Yellowstar just clears a few wards away, or a ward away. Febiven looking for the piercing arrow. Will not quite find it. Reckless, meanwhile, has pressure in the side, has to be careful, as VODS will be coming to push it back any second now.
Fnatic as a team always very good at maximizing their farm.
Power.
Evil.
He goes deep. He gets chained.
Flash for that one. Febiven sidestepped all the damage at first. Stays alive then. So flash down for Power of Evil now. Reignover. Look for a dive. There's no ulti now for Chachi, remember?
Yep, he burned it easy, but he does put Huni up against the wall again. Not enough to do the damage to take him down. Reignover. Gilius and Hylissang are there to try and exact some revenge, but they don't have enough damage. The cow comes out the brush, and Huni immediately flashes away from it. Unicorns will have to go home empty-handed once again.
And look how many members Unicorn sent to the top lane, meaning Febiven can push mid, bottom lane as well, 2 versus 1 for Fnatic, so they're just pushing every single lane. Again, they're maximizing farm on their carries. They all have a lane each. Corki is very safe. He can always push up one wave for himself. Febiven, all right, people changing the mind. And
yeah, I mean, I don't know about that, man.
The puppy's
Huni's
dying.
been getting ahead at this time.
Come on, guys.
All right. The crowd here's with them, though. They must be the 42%. After so many attempts to shut this guy down, not just this game, you got to go back. Everybody's always focusing on Huni.
Let's also just highlight that Reignover has been there to help Huni get back in the game.
That's very true.
The way they've been playing around the ulti from Chachi to set up these dives has been very effective for Fnatic. Unicorns doesn't have a response because they have 2 champions who rely so much on their ultis on this top side, in the Rengar and in the Poppy. So whenever they're down and they didn't get anything, Fnatic can just easily punish them. Unicorns love here. They're gonna have to start getting a group set up, Power of Evil and VODS together, and and just try and rely on this poke. But again, you're against both VODS and Corki.
Yeah.
Probably Evil needs to be playing a perfect game.
That's the problem, isn't it? They focus so much attention on the top side, they're going to inevitably neglect the mid and the bottom. Yes, Power of Evil has been doing some work to get one up on Febvin. He nearly took him out, narrowly sidestepped. But that's just not going to be enough against Fnatic. You cannot make a mistake against this team because they will take that all the way to a big victory.
To be fair though, Fnatic also, if you look like last few weeks, they also make mistakes themselves. And we have seen teams punish them along the way.
Just
but
not
then
enough.
Simply not being able to finish the game, yeah. Once we got down to these 5-on-5 team fights, Fnatic has just been a level above everyone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's coming back for it later.
Oh, he's just showing, I know your ward is there. I'm gonna clear it.
Getting a message. Unicorns, on the other hand, have no qualms about that. They do clear out the wards in their jungle in a hurry. Ilias is on the ults. Febvin could be in danger. He's going to have to burn his flash. Chains will land on Hylissang. Ilias looks to go in for round number 2, but he may have gone in a little too far forward. The poke just wrecks through his health bar. Rainover's caught up by Hylissang, and VODS as a teleport comes in for Chachi, but Power is nearly taken down. Rekkles valks his way to a kill, and now a double for Huni, a double for Rekkles. All of a sudden, or excuse me, a single for Rekkles. All of a sudden, it's only 2 unicorns left in this one. Hylissang now is going to look to make it a round 4. Huni picks up yet another kill. Chachi comes in. Chachi can't get much done. Fnatic continue the push down the middle.
And we talked about how Rengar, if he starts losing the map, how hard it is to pull off these ultis. Look at the positioning of this pink ward here in the mid and how Febvin was just staying around it. So there was only one way for Gilius to ult. That was from the lane and then past that pink ward. Spots him out. Instantly Fnatic can re-engage onto it, and it's an inhibitor, 20 minutes.
Just under that timer, Fnatic crack open the Unicorn base. They look to go bottom. These guys just always know what to do. Well, they can take a dragon first, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's take a look at this fight one more time.
Yeah. So notice the deep wards from Fnatic. So Gilius, if he wants to make a pick, it's from the mid lane. The pink ward here, Febvin is playing around it. He spots him at first, instantly flashes, and then the return. And now, the main pick is gone. Chachi is TPing in also very late to the fight. Fnatic's already been in control of this for the last few seconds. Huni joins, clean up time. Even Gilius goes down in the end. Let's see what happens mid though.
Oh, Febvin, he's going to get melted. Chachi might just make it out, but no, Rekkles will secure the kill onto him. Hylissang gets the headbutt pulverized, but there's no follow-up available, and now he's knocked back under the tower. Huni, meanwhile, picks up Power of Evil, and a double kill over to Rekkles as he takes the Acathian surprise. Unicorns don't know when to quit. And Fnatic can secure a 21-minute Baron off of this.
To be fair for the Unicorns, I mean, this is what they can do if they're calm. Just try and create some chaos, trying to create some picks. Fnatic's just always ready to respond.
It took them a split, but they got used to the Unicorn chaos.
They did. They did. Last split, 5 games in the final.
Yeah.
3-2 to Fnatic in the very end. Unicorns beat them both times in this split. So
yeah, that head-to-head all time, including playoffs. That's 4v4 right now. Fnatic win this one. Well, they put themselves up in that column as well as every other one.
We have to remember though, the Unicorns are locked in as number 4 in the standings, so they will face Fnatic in the semi-final.
Valuable practice.
If the Unicorns can obviously win the quarterfinal. And the tiebreaker for that one between Rocket and Giants will be played after this one to see who they will be facing. We might get to see Unicorns of Love versus Fnatic in the semi-final.
Yeah.
Not sure Puppey will be played then.
We'll see.
I mean, I'm not blaming.
You know, honestly, I'm glad the Unicorns have gone back to this a little bit, even if it's definitely not working right now, because there was much of this split where we had questions on our minds. Where did the Unicorn magic go? Where did that magical pixie dust disappear off to? We thought it went to Giants, but then it's kind of bounded around, and now Unicorns, with nothing necessarily on the line here, have been able to try and get it back. Febvin's going to get blown up by Gilius. Yellowstar tried to answer, but he wasn't able to get it. It will be Huni doing that, just that. Flashing forward, picking it off. Rekkles now on the bottom tower, unopposed but for a cow. With the Baron and powered minions, he is wrecking through both Hylissang and the tower, nearly picks him off. Fnatic on a rampage all the way to 18-0. We're only 22 minutes into this game. It's starting to look like it.
Yeah, just a Huni come from Fnatic. You group and you win. That's all they gotta do. And Power People?
Just a Hunicomp power. He's gonna get taken out by Reckless. VODS on the hunt back to base, and now Hylissang is locked up in Root Prison. Flashes, but he still can't get away. An inhibitor turret will be finished off as Chachi looms around the side. Can't threaten any of Fnatic, and another inhibitor will drop, this time in the bottom.
23 minutes in. Can't even finish the game. I mean, there are two guys dead from
They're gonna try. Oh, belly bump. He's not gonna be able to get it. Chachi looks to go in on a Rainover, but the towers are being fired down. VODS, his health bar just evaporates again. Hootie picks up another massive kill as Reckless takes down the turret. Fnatic look to end this game quicker than we've seen this entire split, and Fnatic will become the first team in LCS history to do it. The perfect split, 18-0.
Greatest team we've ever seen in the LCS. Fnatic right now.
We are living in great times, Deficio.
Heading into playoffs, first seed. Everyone is of course expecting Fnatic to make it to Worlds.
We said they didn't necessarily have too much to prove there, but I feel like that game turned it up, not to 11, not to 12. 13-14, off into the stratosphere. I think that might have been the quickest game we've seen all split.
It was.
Hashtag Goonie win in the end. And the entire team. I mean, it's never about a single player on this team.
Very true.
Someone will step up. Some ones will step up. They cover their bases. They cover their rotations. They keep their vision. There are a few things this team can do wrong, and they have proved it here in Europe with a flawless split as Yellowstar hoists the flag of Fnatic.
The man who stayed on Fnatic, rebuilt the team of the organization, and he deserves this so much. The Shuckle, the captain. I mean, there's so many fantastic things you can say about Yellowstar. He deserves everything.